Adversity, bring it. The struggle, we welcome it. Snooze on life, never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 88. We're getting up there, kid. I am here with the Fantastic Four, Michael, the show Pirelli, Claudio, the voice Valenzuela, Justin, Satchel, Simpy Sanchez, and I am Dave, the body Regina. Welcome back, another week, a wild week, right?
Super wild. I feel like I'm sitting next to royalty.
Oh, stop it.
I don't even want to wait. I think we jump right into this. If you live under a rock, you haven't seen, young Dave was on TikTok.
Yes.
Do you want to tell people the story, how you found out?
Yeah, so, I mean, if somebody's just tuning in for the first time, welcome to the podcast.
But
And
what took you so long?
Yeah,
it's
what
about
took
time.
you? I mean, yeah, you like you said, living under a
He's
boulder. I
famous.
guess.
Sanchez is famous.
No.
I'm available.
Absolutely not famous. But so back in 2020, this is the wild thing. Back in 2020, it was like the original COVID quarantine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike and I saw a challenge kind of going viral on TikTok. It was basically cracking an egg with your bicep. Obviously, Mike and I are both monsters. Did it in one shot. My video, though, happened to basically pop the egg right into the camera screen of the phone. And then I had a reaction to it, which was pretty natural. So we put it up on Instagram. Gets a couple thousand views, probably like 6,000 at the time, which was a lot for us.
At the time, super viral for us.
Right, for us, right. We were like, wow, that's incredible. But then the video kind of went dormant.
Yeah.
Right? I remember a media company actually reaching out early on saying like, hey, and I'll keep the name out because I got into some negotiations with them after this last go round. So I'll leave the name out, but this media company reaches out and they're like, hey, we represent viral videos and, we believe that this video can take off. So we'll take over the licensing, but we need to see that this video actually can perform well before we reach back out. So kind of like left it at that. It was pretty cool. Like, we're like, all right, maybe there's an opportunity there. I don't really know about viral videos. Then it gets a lot of traction through Fail Army, right, at the end of the year. They posted it as one of the biggest fails of the year, which was pretty funny.
Pretty good.
Right? But I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. I popped it nice. Right?
Your facial, but the immediate reaction when you do it, you're like, oh, because it hits the camera. It's perfect.
Exactly. So then at the end of the year, the video resurfaces. A lot of people started texting us like, hey, is this Dave? I seen this video here. Like, what's going on?
Can I ask everyone, do you think there's another dude that looks like that? I don't know anyone who looks like you. Like, it's clearly you. When they're like, is that Dave? No, it's someone who looks exactly like the same tattoos.
There's a lot of people
like,
saying
stop asking me dumb questions. It's Dave, dude.
A lot of people are saying, they're like, is that Dave?
Yeah.
That looks like Dave. And it's like, wait, but can't, right?
Yeah, like, who do you think it is?
And you saw the No Snooze logo on there.
You know what I should do? I should just be like, no, it's The Rock, and just not.
Yeah. So, I mean, it caught a lot of traction at the end of the year. And then, into January, I mean, it was cool. It got that video itself, which wasn't just my video. It was all the fails of the year. But it was up to like 40 million views.
Shout out to Mo for catching that one.
Yes. Yeah, he caught it. But then like 10 other people.
I bet you Mo sent it to this dude.
Right.
Go ahead.
So then literally, yesterday, and what's the guy's Instagram name?
I don't remember his name. Kobe?
So... let me find it to be proper.
How do you pronounce it, Just?
I don't even know how to pronounce it, to be honest with you. But so anyway, the biggest TikToker in Italy.
No, like the world.
No. He's literally the biggest TikToker in Italy specific.
He's one of the biggest in the world.
In the world right now?
Let's not shortchange him.
Okay. I mean...
Because then he'll never tag us.
Right.
Or you, excuse me.
So his name is Khaby, Khaby 00 on Instagram. He's got 67.4 million followers. Can I tell you, I was so busy during the day, my phone started blowing up. I actually looked at the first message from that was between the No Snooze crew, and I saw the video, right? So I quickly clicked on his picture. I thought it said 67K. So I'm like, oh, like he's
cool.
He's good. Yeah. Like, that's awesome. And he got the blue check. So I'm like, oh, cool. Then my wife hits me up and she's like, my coworkers are going nuts right now. My students are going crazy. Like, they see you on this video. She sends me the video. She's like, of course. Now, this is what is going to go viral. So anyway, I look at the video and he basically is a very funny guy on Instagram that takes other people's videos and then adds a reaction to it. Doesn't say anything in the video.
It's genius.
So I cracked the egg and the response was basically him getting an egg cracked on his head. Like I cracked it onto his head. And the caption was pretty funny. It said like, and from Italy. That's all, folks.
Yeah, and he walked off.
And then he walks off. So the video, I mean, I don't know by the time this comes out, but I'm looking at it right now. It's got 4.1 million likes on the video. 4.1 million likes. And the views right now are at 44 million. Right?
So, I can't even fathom that.
That's what I'm saying. So then my phone, thank God I keep Instagram notifications off. Thank God. Because if not, I mean, I would have thought that there was cool, something going on. So I open the app, and now everybody's tagging No Snooze Podcast, yes. No Snooze Podcast.
I was pissed because I was like, how's this dude take Dave's video and not tag him? Right?
Like, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's through this licensing company that, you know, maybe they gave him the license. I don't really know. So whatever.
But anyway, No Snooze Army came out strong. Yes. Dave Regina Faithful came out strong. People that reached out to me came out strong. For you, it was impressive.
Yeah,
I was pumped. People were all over
reposting, tagging all over the place. I don't think he's seen the video yet, but so anyway, then I get contacted by this media company again. Hey, you know, we see that this video's got a lot of traction now. Happy to negotiate terms. Mind you, this is all via email. They throw something out there where, and I don't know if this is like a lesson for people. It's kind of a lesson for me, because I kind of took a shot with it, which also ties into like creating opportunity, like we'll talk about today.
Take a swing.
That one, right?
Take a swing.
So you know, they're emailing back and forth with me, you know, hey, a lot of traction on the video, blah, blah, blah. We'd like to take over the rights for it, 60% our way, 40% your way. So, like, I didn't know much about licensing, but I'm like, absolutely not. I mean, thus far, this video has done absolutely nothing, so I don't really care right now. Yeah. But I just don't feel good about giving my video to you to now be the majority owner of the license. So we're going back and forth via email, and they're pretty firm on this 60-40 thing. I said, you know, really, listen, thank you for the opportunity. One, I don't negotiate via email. Here's my cell phone number. You know, give me a call if you want to talk. Yeah. But as of now, you're not licensing the video. And, you know, I get a call like a couple minutes later. And they're like...
Thirsty.
Yeah. They're like, hey, you know, we're willing to negotiate, but we never give majority of our videos, ever. We represent Ellen DeGeneres Show. We represent,
Ellen. You think he's not going to be bigger than Ellen? Come on.
Rob Dyrdek Show. So now it makes...
Little respect on his name. Dyrdek.
Oh, Dyrdek.
Jesus Christ. He's one of my favorites, too. That hurt me. If he ever sees this now, we're effed.
Come on. Sorry, Robbie.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so... Now it makes sense that these videos are all licensed videos to get to these big time shows, which I always thought like they find them on the internet, they just kind of repost, but it's actually illegal to do, come to find out. So now I'm going back and forth with them, and you know me, once I'm stuck on something, I'm like, yeah, now I'm not budging.
Yeah.
You know, like now
just out of principle.
So they're like, you know, we've never licensed a video out of majority. I said, well, I guess today's going to be the first time for you. So you call me back when you're willing to settle. So we jump like 5% here, 5% there, whatever. And then I just shoot my shot. I'm like, listen.
Love it.
I'm not even going to talk anymore. I'll throw out 55% my way, 45% your way, and then we can, you know, make this happen. If you guys aren't interested in it, that's fine. Obviously, the video is going viral. Maybe another company will reach out. Maybe not. Yep. I've lived my life thus far without this video. So really, I'm really not concerned about it. You know, I'm not going to just sign a contract just because you guys are reaching out. So they were kind of quiet, hesitated a little bit. No, you know, we can't do it. We can't do that. Let me talk to my supervisor. Oh, let me talk to the VP. Let me go, you know, keep going up the chain.
Let me talk to God for an hour.
Right. Long story short, they ended up coming back with a license agreement for 55% my way, 45% their way.
Okay, so you signed it.
Signed it.
Wow, done deal.
Yeah, done.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but honestly, well, one, if it's big money, I mean, which it's not going to be. But listen, No Snooze is, you know.
If I if I'm watching
dabble in that.
ridiculousness and I see your face, I'll lose it. One thing I have to point out. Your massive chest blocked the logo. I don't know if anyone noticed. You're flexing so hard, the logo's like on your inner chest. If it was my chest, it would have been faced out. Been good.
I don't know, man. Listen,
impressive.
But it was a No Snooze thing. We did it as a No Snooze thing. So whatever comes of it, I mean, we can reap. But I don't foresee this being something that, you know, is a life changing. It's one video.
I think it possibly could be, and I think that concept cracks me up. That we've worked so hard. You've personally worked.
Don't piss me off.
Listen. You've worked so hard and you've tried to bring so much value, which I think you have to a lot of people. Very like strategic, very insightful, and you could get discovered for breaking an egg in your bicep, which brings it back to like, if you're a goon, and embrace it.
Yep. No, it is pretty funny though. So I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. I'm like, I don't know if I should be upset. I spend a lot of my time developing, yes, my own skills, but then also, spending time on content, the message that we put out. And I actually take pride in it. I like doing it. I love the community that we've built together. But at the same time, if I get, notoriety off of an egg,
who cares?
I got to change my name to Dave the Egg Regina.
I don't the egg.
Like
the egg crusher.
The egg guy. So they're going to be that's the egg guy.
The chicken.
And I want to hear like, yo, that's the guy from No Snooze.
Well, think about this. Like Kim Kardashian. We all know how she got famous, right? Does anyone talk about that anymore?
What, that she took a large one?
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but think about that. Like she got her foot in the door,
literally,
because
she had somebody's foot in her door.
Oh my! Well, I should give another example.
Don't cut it, man. Come on, let it rock.
Point being, though, if you get discovered, like, I'm not trying to gas you up. I like to do it sometimes. If someone picks you up as like a fitness influencer or like
I'm not that fit, Michael. Stop it. Seriously.
Dave,
honestly.
A cigar company.
That I can see before a fitness model. You know how many ripped dudes there are out there?
There's ripped dudes, but you have a very distinct look that I think like it's all about brand, right? And if people can create a narrative around you and you're very identifiable, which you are, like people don't, they see you in public, they know it's you.
Like I've seen him before.
I personally think it's going to lead to a lot more. And I thought this all was going to happen at some point. I didn't think it was going to be because of the egg.
Right.
I
like that, so. That's bizarre.
I think it was going to be like a workout video, something where you like do something like, and maybe something funny happens, but it's around what we usually put out, but not the egg. So
it's funny. And honestly, nothing, something could come, nothing can come. I don't really know. But it's funny on the licensing agreement, it says the majority of the videos actually don't really perform that well for the first 6 months of a license agreement for whatever reason. I guess they got to do a lot of outreach, which would make sense because we've seen that trend even from when we did the challenge. Yeah. It's over a year, almost 2 years in April.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's just coming.
Do you remember the protein or the dry scoop thing we tried and I almost died?
That was hilarious.
Almost died.
Yes. Yeah. That was another that
part
could
of
be
me is happy that didn't get out farther because I look so stupid in that. It's like who dry scoops protein, and I almost imagine if I died that way.
I imagine.
But amazing. I was super fired up about it. I was angry on your behalf. I'm like, how could this dude take it in that tag? I'm excited. That's amazing.
Listen,
fun.
I mean, nothing is in. No reason to congratulate now. Nothing happened.
But 99.9% of the people in the world don't ever have the feeling of what a viral thing feels like and people seeing everything. And you've just achieved it.
I don't know about what we achieved, really, but thank you. The followers are still going wild.
Yeah. It's going to go. That's what viral is, Dave. It just keeps going.
but we last night. I mean, I guess not wild because I'm sure when you're talking like Kim Kardashian, this dude, this is ridiculous. But we were at like 15.6 or 7,000, and I woke up this morning and it was 16.1.
Yeah.
And every time you refresh, there's just
follow.
So it's kind of wild to see. But again, I didn't really feel it because I have notifications off.
Yeah.
And that's just a work thing. Like I don't like. Being at work and then I have to, jump on my phone. But kind of wild. One video even getting 500 followers, like kind of strange.
But I like how when you're at the plate, you get a at bat, you're swinging. That's what I believe in. I believe if you're at the plate, you got to take a swing.
I heard you're swinging.
With what?
Can we talk about that or
Which
no?
one?
With the company?
Oh, so yeah. So I had a similar story.
Right.
And I don't want to talk too much about it because it's still in negotiation. Nothing signed. Basically, I came to the realization, I'm like, I don't need them. I've done a lot without them. If they want to be a part of it, great, but I'm not letting them get it for free.
Can you name the company or no?
Not really.
Okay.
So I could tell you kind of the message.
And I can just say global company.
Big company, part of how I've been lately is it's like F it to the big guy. I've felt like I don't need anyone. No one's recognized me in 8 years.
Right.
Why am I going to take their money now? I made it this far. I have my own money. I don't need anyone. So I went into first off, I went to the meeting with a couple caffeinated beverages prior. So I was fired up, right? Came from like a good showing. It was just everything was kind of escalating well.
Momentum.
I go in there, they're buying me lunch. I was meeting with a friend of mine from high school. Good dude, and I prefaced everything I said to him, like, listen, I'm going to be very blunt with you. This isn't a reflection of that I don't want to work with you. I'd love to work with you, but I know who you represent, and I'm not just going to be taken advantage of. If your company wants to be involved, they're going to have to pay. So know that right off the bat. There's no free, there's no free passes here. I'm not in charity. When I do charity, it's not for big companies that have a lot of money.
Do you know what gave you that confidence to do that?
Maybe
no.
I think it comes from a point of leverage. Like, I don't need their money. Like, I could do everything I need.
Everything you've done.
Yeah, like we don't need them. It would help if it would help speed things up potentially, but I wouldn't want to do it at a cost of giving control out, right? So I've worked very hard to stay in control of everything I do so that I don't have to report to anyone.
Yep.
Yes, I'm at a brokerage. I reach out to people. I have to get approvals. But at the end of the day, my business and where I take it is between me and my family and whoever I'm partners with, which I love. Like, once you get that freedom, it's really hard to give that away.
Yep.
So going into it, there's certain times in my life where I'll be like, F this. Like, I know what I'm doing and I'm just going to swing. So going in, I was like lighthearted about it, but I was pretty honest. We started throwing numbers around. And he's like, well, to give me an idea of what you're thinking about. I don't think he listens to this, and maybe don't repost it so he sees it.
Right.
But, I threw out a big number, and I basically I'm not going to say the number, but if you can imagine, it was something that got kind of a giggle out of him, which I didn't get mad about, but I kind of kept talking with it because I was like, I know it's a lot for you, but think about your marketing budget that your company has. And I said, go to your boss and ask your boss, how much does it cost to have every restaurant owner in town in your phone, great reputation with them in a relationship, the number one food brand locally, and a young agent that's probably going to be the number one agent in the future. And I lined it up like that. And then he kind of went like this. And then I'm like, yeah, so this is where I kind of got a little crazy. I'm like, it's like signing LeBron in high school.
That's good. That's fine. I like it.
I laughed internally saying that. And I had to tell people.
But you were dead serious.
Dead serious when I said it, which I kind of believe. I'm not arrogant by any means, but if I can execute in the game plan, there's a lot of opportunity for a big company to be aligned with it that can benefit a ton, right? Like, everything I'm building as far as the Grange Clothing Company, which has become a feeder for giving stuff to locals so that they can feel like they're part of town. Think about if I made 1,000 beach towels, that logo of that company could be on every beach towel. And it's that easy to implement.
Yep.
If I have the building I want in the future on Greenwich Ave, that's my real estate firm. Think about just the awareness and presence of being on Greenwich Ave for basically your initial investment or some type of stipend every year. That's a steal, right?
Yep.
But they are taking a risk on we're assuming that you're going to be able to execute all this. Right. So by me saying it's like LeBron in high school, it's like LeBron, I can blow my knee out and not develop into the NBA. But if you want to take a shot, it's going to cost.
Yep.
So that's how I kind of framed it. And to his credit, he was truthful. He was like, listen, that's not in my realm. This is where I play. I can get you the right people to talk to. And I'm like, and that's kind of why I wanted to sit directly with them, because I know it's not your decision. But ultimately, I want to make you a lot of money. And if there's no reason we both can't do very well, but you just got to set me up with the right people so I can try to get it done.
Right.
So I came out of the meeting great. If it happens, great. If not, I don't care. Which I think you did, it was the same scenario. There was no downside. Right. You're like, I don't care if
you've been here before.
Make me an offer.
Yep.
And then they made a good enough offer. You're like, all right, it makes sense. So that was fun though. It's fun being I've been in the so with the headphones, I've been in the arena with some big, I can name these. I talked to Beats. I talked to Monster. I talked to 50 Cent's
Just give a quick backstory as what you guys created back in college.
So we invented we still have the licensing opportunity. We just haven't, been able to license it, but we created a headphone and earbud that the earbud connects into the headphone shell as a docking system so that you can have 2-in-1 product. So now it's more like if you're pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah. So, we spent a fortune prototyping. This is all in college, too. We, made the money and spent it all. But point being, now, even more so, it's pretty attractive because you have the Bluetooth option. You have gamers where you can plug in, a gaming headset.
Yep.
And then if you want to go, you take that out and put in normal earbuds. Or VR is going to completely change how our product could be used. So we have, 16 years left on the license. So if we just get, an Apple or a big guy, it could be a good opportunity no matter when that happens, right? And we've tried all different scenarios. We were very close. We had a deal, and it was like when I was 21 maybe. I probably would never have sold real estate. I would just made products. It was that good of a deal. And then they ended up backing out, which was like devastating. But it was a huge game company that had licenses with like Disney, SpongeBob, all this other shit. And it just fell through. But anyway, we've talked to any big name in the headphone industry I've been in the room with. I talked during Hurricane, what was the biggest? Sandy.
Sandy, yeah.
During Hurricane Sandy, I was talking to the CEO of Monster, who owned Beats at the time.
Wow.
My man came in on a Vespa, not a Vespa. What's the thing?
Like a scooter thing?
Yeah, but it's like you stand on it. He was known for that because he had some issues. So I'm sitting on the line. My partner, what? Segway. My partner, Adam, is on the other line, and we're getting ready to do the meeting. His connection cuts out, so it was one-on-one.
Wow.
And he's like, dude, I can't get back on. You know, he was in New Jersey.
Yep.
Storm, you got to take over. So I was like, all right. So I was having a conversation with him, and I pitched it very well, but I wasn't in a position of like, F it, we don't need you.
Right.
We're now looking back, I'm like, maybe that would have got the deal done. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It still sounds very good. Even for me, like, I'm in the gym. That's when I'm using my headphones the most. Yeah. And depending on which day it is in the gym, right? If I'm doing chest or back or shoulders or legs, I like having either my earbuds or my Beats headphones. There's too many times that my my AirPods actually die on me. Yeah. And then I end up going back into my locker to get my Beats.
So you know how Apple has the charging?
Yeah.
Like that would be Apple. If anyone's going to license it, it's probably Apple.
Right.
But once you get famous, we'll just use you to market it. So keep that going.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun. Like, there's certain times in your life where it's fun to look back and be like, wow, I was in a similar situation, not the same, probably smaller opportunity.
You've been here before.
But being completely different and way more assertive. It's fun.
Yeah. I see a lot of lessons in that. It makes a lot of sense now, too, because you always talk about, you expect no. Right, yeah, so here you were at 21 years old, not even in real estate at the time, right? Where you're just getting in.
We're pushing that.
Right, yeah. So not even that real estate at the time. And now with real estate, the majority of the time, the answer is no anyway.
Like 99.9%.
Right, but now it makes sense that you had that experience back then. So it's kind of all even clicking for me.
Yeah. It all absolutely.
I love the approach. I think
it's very similar though. It's funny how you had that same experience like around the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of bugged out.
But the kid was great. I don't want to say names and stuff, but he's still my guy. If you're listening to this, I'm gonna do my best to make it work. But your people have to pay up.
Yeah. Hey, listen, pay that man. Yeah. Pay that man. In terms of products, right? I think it's wild now. Even seeing like. We've established a decent credibility system on Instagram specifically, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of like our main platform there. But companies, left and right, are really reaching out for, product placements, endorsements, or like sample this product, tag us. It's kind of crazy to see, the way that social media is right now. And really, if you take time, we didn't even invest all of our time in something like No Snooze, but there's progress there, right? Yeah. Like for a while, I feel like it kind of, when we weren't recording, especially right in the summertime, when we had the conversation, I was like, where are we going with this? I don't know. But as long as there's progress, here we are sitting. This is starting year 3. Is this right?
Yeah, I think so.
Starting year 3.
But I always come back.
2. We did 2 full years. Yeah, we did two full years. Right. But now we're starting to really see that almost anything kind of the same way. Like I feel like. Soon you'll be seeing some big time guests on the show just because now we've established ourselves in the industry. Specifically when it comes to podcasts, the number of podcasts you actually have out is something that guests look at because they're like, hey, do I want to invest my time into something that only has 26 episodes? Whereas when we did only have 26 episodes, we were like, we got 26 episodes, like come join our show. Yeah. And then you're getting told, no.
You know what I think too? And this is relates to real estate is like, I think people want you to prove that you're going to be around because they don't want to invest their time in you if you're going to disappear, right? Yep. So like for me, I didn't have a lot of business my first couple of years and I was like, this is weird. Like I should be closing these deals and like getting these people. And then after like year 3, people are like, oh, he's for real.
Yes.
Fun fact, 87% of new agents don't last 5 years.
Wow.
So once I hit the 5-year mark, even more so people are coming out of the woodwork. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to see how people are like, I'm not going to invest my time in you unless you're investing time in what product you're putting out and the value you're bringing me, which is interesting. So I think we're hitting that point where people are like, oh, they're going to be around.
Yep.
I always say it, but as long as we're all successful independently and then come together to do No Snooze, and No Snooze is also successful, it gives us instant credibility because they go, whether they discover you through your personal or my personal, come to No Snooze, or discover on No Snooze and then go to our personals.
Yep.
They see all the backup of what we're saying.
Yes.
Right? It's not just like, hey, and then we go back to our personal and then I'm there like, sitting on the couch watching reruns of Friends. No offense to those people, by the way.
Is that a movie, Friends?
Yeah. Good movie.
Speaking of sitting on the couch, let's go Podbot update.
Oh, I'm in a flow.
Are you?
Did you see my form, dude?
But did you disappear for a little bit or no?
No.
Because sometimes
I have a background story for that.
Okay, go ahead.
So I had to bring my parents to the airport one day.
Flew to Italy. They fled to Italy.
Went to Florida, Naples. Nice. Love it. Amazing. I've had some clients move down there, and they're trying to recruit me to go sell in Florida. And I told them, listen, I won't leave Greenwich unless I'm going for vacation.
Yep.
So that was Monday, which wasn't ideal because I like to kick off the week. I was going to try to work out before and then rush and drop them off, but I had to pick them up at 6, which is right in the middle of my workout.
Yeah.
So I was like, my shoulder was sore. I was like, let me recover, use this as recovery. I'll work from 5 to 6, go drop them off, and then 6 to 7. Then when Livy gets up, I'll get the day going. So I took advantage of that time and try to have my body recover. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the background was I brought a new listing on. And it was a holiday weekend, so like there's no inventory. So in my head, I'm like, I can bring it on and work out the kinks and show it and figure out how I'm going to show it best. But I would expect for it to be on at least like a week and change.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up having like 35 showings, which is a ton for that style of a property, especially in a holiday weekend. So I literally was at a property from 9 until 5 p.m. Straight, back to back to back to back showings, 3 levels, townhouse. Each showing takes 30 minutes, and then sometimes they run long with questions. And then you're like, all right, hold on. I'm going to get the other people started. I'll be back, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I mentally was just drained. And then when I got home, I ate, hung out with Livy and Dana, and then I worked from 7 until, like, 11 at night, catching up on every other thing I had to do. So Saturday, Sunday was, like, recovery, but I had to get the listing to a certain point where I felt comfortable going into the following week. So my system was good in the sense like things didn't fall off the wheels. And then Monday I had to do some, but then Tuesday I was back in the gym. I was like organized, which was yesterday. Yeah, Jesus. So I didn't fall off, but sometimes I disappear, but just know that I'm getting shit done.
But then sometimes you don't, because then my story will load and then I'll see your workout from the day before. I'm like, oh, he did work out yesterday. So I don't know. Something with Instagram.
Sometimes like a little funny. I'll record. You know how you don't record during?
Yeah.
Or you record during, but you don't post right away?
Right.
So sometimes I'll have everything ready, and then it'll just like the day will start. We're doing construction. So if a HVAC guy comes at 8 or 7:30, my whole schedule's screwed up. Right. I got to get Livy out of the house, Dana out of the house. I got to get prepared, dressed. So then I'm like, let me get to the office and I'll post once I get there. So
no, it makes sense. But yeah, I've seen your I guess your system now is compound lifts, which always should be.
Do you like what I'm?
So compound lifts always should be in any system in terms of weightlifting, right? Doesn't really matter about the weight. That
does though. You got to get the weight up.
That will come. I'm saying to a novice.
Okay.
That will definitely come.
I'm a novice.
No, you're not. You're a Lou Ferrigno-esque, like you just literally pick things up and put them down just naturally. You've always been that way.
So for body, Podbot update, I have a revelation again this week.
Okay.
What's working for me in life and real estate is having a long-term game plan and doing things that I'm trying to build upon so I can have a sustained, successful career. For some reason, with food and working out, I do get rich quick schemes. I have no idea why. But I've came to the realization, I'm like, why do I do that? It's so stupid because I do everything else with a good lens, and I'm an idiot when it comes to working out.
Which is the reverse for me. The working out built my structure and my systems for my business.
Isn't it weird?
That is wild.
So I was like, you know what? All right. So if I keep asking, I have a lot of combos. If I'm going to
with yourself
change my complete outlook on it, but use everything I've learned in the past couple of years from you guys, from just this podcast, from everything I've watched, then where do I start? And my thought was like, well, I don't have great form when it comes to like standing presses. All my compounds aren't that strong. If I want to bench 400 pounds, say that's my goal. I need to get better in all arenas because my shoulders are going to give out before I get there. Or there's a weak point. My triceps are non-existent. My shoulders are non-existent. Like I would just be benching like this, right? But you have to be brutally honest with yourself.
But that's kind of not really that honest with
very
yourself.
Honest. My shoulders are brutal. I have no range of motion. It's very honest. So I had this like talk, and I was all right. So where do I start? I got to learn how to do everything the correct way again, because in high school football, I just kind of went through the motions. I lifted. I enjoyed it. My form was shit. I was going for the weight, wasn't going for effectiveness, right? So I'm like, all right, where do I start? And I start Googling stuff. Mind Pump Podcast. 3 dudes, very normal. One kind of looks like you, which scares me, so I'm afraid of him. But very scientific, but very simple, right? Because, yeah, very scientific. So one guy trains a lot of elderly people,
gotcha.
Which I like because he talks about longevity. And he's like, if anything, people should be doing these workouts for longevity. And I've been obsessed with that lately because I'm like, the longer I stay healthy, the more I can accomplish, the more I can give to the family, whatever. So then I go into this rabbit hole of them, and I really enjoy how they keep videos to like 7 minutes, and they'll say the 3 lifts you need to do to build big shoulders. They start with a compound and then 2 complementary. So I'm like, that's very focused for me. And if I stick to one body part a day, I can work out every day and not fatigue and do it for 30 minutes every day, so that if chaos ensues and I only have 30 minutes to work out, I can squeeze that in.
Good.
Like I can't squeeze in my 2-hour workouts I've been doing. As much as I love them.
You've been working out for 2 hours.
You know how it is. Like walk around, look at yourself in the mirror, tighten the belt. So I've stopped using the belt.
Okay.
What? No, don't use gloves. I've been working.
Do they have cutouts to show your like your nails and stuff?
Yeah, cute. Like so I can paint them. So big things are no weight belt anymore. Focus on breathing and form. So like I don't exhale until I'm like 90% up, which is like keep tension, right? Is the thing. I've dropped the weight down and I've increased the reps, because the guy was saying like basically you can be doing a lot of weight, but if you're not going through the full range of motion, your muscles won't be as developed and it's a lot less effective anyway. So he's like, you're better off going lighter, getting the form perfect, so that in the future when you go heavy, those workouts are way more effective and you have to spend less time in the gym. So I was like, this guy's pretty good. And I felt so stupid for everything I've done before, but I can say that I have a great base now of knowledge, and this is just so I've tried to dumb it so far down that like when I wake up, no thinking, you have 3 exercises for one body part and then get the F out of the gym. You feel accomplished and you move to the next thing, which in real estate, I've had to do lists, because if I don't do lists of what I want to accomplish, I feel like unaccomplished.
Yes.
And then I keep trying to do stuff. And then it's just a mess. And the stress level's like crazy.
I like it.
A lot of info.
No, but I think always fundamentals and the basics is...
You do compound lifts, right?
Of course.
Standing
presses.
Strict press, whatever they call it. Tough.
Yes. Yeah, so, but again, I built my own personal weightlifting system off of the fundamentals and compound movements. Yeah. The squat, the bench,
pull up,
the deadlift
is very important, they say.
Are you sitting there like every time they say something, you're like, fucking Dave?
Yeah, 100%. Every time I watch anything, I'm like, fucking Dave. That's all I think.
It's fun. Look, I'm glad, and I think your personality, you need that, because you need to... our it's pride in a sense, but when you believe you can do something, you're like, no, F that, I'm going to do it, which is good. But I think you're figuring it out. It might be a little slower, but
very slow.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But still, to this day, the first thing I do after my warm up with the push-ups and pull-ups is always a compound movement, and then I go into my isolation exercises.
Yeah, they talked about how if you do like lighter to start, it like initiates, so you have maximum. All your shit makes sense. I hate it, but I love it. But the other thing I want to mention, carbs. So I thought it was super interesting. One guy's a trainer for like, he trains UFC fighters, but then he trains like a high level CEOs. So he was like, it's very different because we look at stress levels and cortisol, and he's like, if someone is sedentary most of the day, no matter what they do, and don't have a high level of stress, like a sales position, they have a very different need than someone who is like a CEO I'm not a CEO. Technically for my own.
CEO
but anyway,
of your own life.
So he said those people have high cortisol levels, which is stress inducing, right? So he's like, to counteract that, if you ingest more carbs controlled, that helps level it out because it spikes your insulin. And when insulin spikes, it pulls down your cortisol because for whatever reason, like when we were Neanderthals, some of us still, you would go hunting or whatever. And once you ate what you needed and that spiked, it would signal to like relax. So I'm like, oh, that's good. Like I do feel the most jittery. Caffeine doesn't help. But when I don't eat and like blood sugar's low, I feel way more like high stress.
Mm-hmm.
So it was super interesting.
Yeah.
So I've incorporated more white rice and sweet potatoes.
No, I mean, if you look at bodybuilders, right, they consume 400 grams of carbs a day, which is the complete opposite of what I do because of my Crohn's disease.
Yeah, but that's what they say. Like everyone's different. You got to figure out your body, what works, what doesn't work.
Right. So I mean, I never touch even 100 grams of carbs for the day, which is crazy, but it's worked for me because I've done it consistently over time. Love it. I mean, I think, again, when you come to quarter 2, you're going to have to ramp it up a little bit because if you're just doing 3 exercises for 30 minutes for you to shed the body fat while you're smashing burgers and Bentleys, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I ate a monster yesterday.
This show is awesome. It looks so cool.
You.
What was did he actually say the cost of the car?
That like car was $323,000.
It's just, I mean, it's a house.
It's absurd. I was trying to rationalize to myself. This is how crazy I am. I was trying to rationalize. It was like, if I want to buy a building, probably cost me like $300,000 to put down.
Right.
Obviously, get a bigger asset, like $1.2 million property, whatever. Or I can just buy a Bentley and, park it
and put a logo on it and drive around.
Yeah. No, I would park it and work out of it. And he's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. As much as I enjoy it, no, it's fun. See, I'm trying to go with the approach of fixing all my metabolism, getting back to the habits of consuming more calories, so that when I get to the point where I need to cut, then it's easier to scale back.
Gotcha. No, listen, man. I'm always in your corner. I like to see the different approaches. I think you always make progress.
If not, I need some juice, though.
Some juice, like what?
You gotta connect me with someone in case I don't hit what I need.
What kind of juice?
The juice.
Like sauce. Some sauce. Sauce. Oh, you want to be the sauce boss?
Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, is it really that bad?
Well, you know what's crazy? When you talk to like Coach Pete, who was on the podcast,
the best.
His anti-aging system is great, but it also incorporates a lot of it's called TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. For when you're older and you feel that lethargy and you're tired throughout the day, there's actually a healthy way to properly dose testosterone. So maybe you just throw in the towel now, wait until you are a little bit older. I have a lot of
testosterone. I usually eat like an animal. That's the problem.
Probably do. No, man, good stuff.
How you doing?
Yeah,
fell off completely. Feel terrible. Talk to me.
No, it's wild. Today's the 19th. I haven't taken a day off, but I haven't needed to. Not that I'm going in every day and,
Can you take me through a workout? Because I've talked a lot about my workouts.
Yeah.
Are you doing the same stuff? What is your workout consist of?
So like today?
Reps. Give me some deets.
So today, every day is my push-ups and pull-ups to start.
Okay. You do that every day?
Every day.
Okay.
Every single day. I do sets of 5.
Okay.
Right? For 3 sets.
So those like prepping for the workout?
Exactly. Okay. I'll do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups. 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups. I do that 3 times. Then the last 2 sets, I've been able to get to 10 pull-ups. I do that more as a functional movement, increase mobility into my shoulders, and really get warmed up. Pull-ups are one thing, I swear. I know it looks pretty good when I look back at it. I'm not going to lie. I look at the video, I'm like, damn, I'm flying through that bar. But it doesn't feel that way. So it's one of those exercises that I'm still struggling on it, even though it's definitely gotten easier over time.
To be honest, I haven't noticed you even going up because I just stare at those calves that are just in my face every time.
You catch a nice angle. So then after that, like today was, I did back and I did a little bit of legs.
Okay.
So to start, I did what's called a dead row. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Let me try to think what that is. I'm going through all the things on my app.
Well, think the 2 words. Dead is what?
Dead, you're leaning over and you're just rowing.
Like a deadlift.
Yeah.
And then a row.
Do you do it like 45 degrees?
So instead of a actual deadlift going all the way down and then coming back up and pushing my hips through, the dead row is actually touching the ground with the weight and then using some momentum to row into my upper chest. Right? So it's called the dead row. So I did that and I supersetted with some push-ups. I always like to superset things just because, again, I don't feel that I get enough cardio in. And cardio for me, really, I like being healthy. Like
cardio can kick rocks. I'll get my steps in.
You know, and what's wild, I like to sweat during my workout. So if I'm just going through the motions, it's cool, but I don't feel the same effect, right? So I like to, and I'm not comparing it to anything.
I mean, I'm in 2-degree weather, so I could be sweating. I have no
idea. You could, but I like moving, right? I like moving around. I don't even like thinking. Like I don't like giving myself a chance to think. Honestly, I've also come to the conclusion that my habits and my systems are basically a distraction, because for the majority of the time, if I'm just sitting there, I'm thinking something negative. How can I make more money? Oh, I need an additional.
How's that negative?
I don't know. It's not something that's like a positive thought. So I've created these habits to basically distract myself, which is the opposite of kind of how you think of a distraction, because a distraction is usually
positive
negative.
Distraction.
Right. I have like positive distractions. So then after that, I went to some sort of pull down movement with push-ups. Then after that, I went into rows. I was doing 12 to 15 reps on everything today, and I was doing 4 sets. But I was moving. I was moving pretty quickly. Then I hit some extra machines, and I took the ropes, and I did a lot of straight arm lat pull downs. Mm-hmm. Right, supersetted with some push-ups. Then I got in the squat rack, and I hit front squats. I love hitting front squats. I do that once, if not twice a week.
I've not hit them yet. I have to hit them soon.
They're nice, but it's keep increasing your back squat.
Yeah, I need to get. Yeah, I got to work
to then move to a front squat. Back squat is great, but for me, my lower back tends to roll with the scoliosis a little bit.
Give me a call. I'll teach you. Don't worry.
And then I just supersetted that with like a sumo squat. So I kind of opened up my.
I like sumo.
Opened up my feet a little bit, held the dumbbell in front, and then I go.
See, I have tight hips, which sumo is a lot easier for me.
Yep.
I also think my legs are too long for regular squats, which is true. I looked it up, and they were like, "Yeah, it's difficult for people with long legs."
Definitely is.
But anyway, go ahead.
So then I hold the dumbbell in front, kind of around my chest, and then I'm squatting down, elbows to knees, and back up.
I like it. I have to say, recording myself has given me no room for error, because I'll see it, be like, "Oh, that was terrible,"
right. And you can pause it. And
you
kind of look at yourself.
Like, you're finished. You're like, I felt like I was going so low.
Yes.
And then you look and you're like, that was terrible.
Yep. But I feel good momentum wise. You know, coming off the Prolon, what was that, a week or so ago? You know, I got to get down to 8%. I'm not going straight through from right now to get down to 8%, but I'm making sure that I'm staying disciplined enough, because I can't at any point in this year get over like 11%. If I want to really make a crunch.
Yeah, me either.
You know what I mean, though? Like for me, 3% is a big swing
to maintain than just. Right. So even worse is, like you've been telling me all the time, yo-yo dieting. They were like, the worst thing you can. I was like, yeah, you guys are right, but I'm like nodding the whole podcast, and they're like, the worst thing you could ever do, and they started laughing. They were like, the absolute worst is being a yo-yo dieter, and I was like, okay.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but one of the 10 worst foods for you in the world.
Rice?
Popcorn.
I love popcorn.
I know.
I thought it was good.
But how weird is that?
And is it really? Why?
Yeah, I don't really know, but you look it up. Look up like the 10 worst foods.
It.
I swear to God. Popcorn for whatever reason.
So I'm just poisoning myself while I'm trying to lose weight.
But it's fun. I mean, it's fun to watch. I love it. I'm serious.
Well, did you see what it was? It was popcorn and Red Bull.
And a Red Bull.
I was in the office.
Did you see one of your foodies reached out to No Snooze, and they sent a message. They were like, Mike, you were just eating popcorn and a Red Bull on your page, and now you're eating a steak and the vegetable. Yes, very funny. Very funny.
It's hard putting out a lot of content.
No, I know, man. I get it. What? Food number 4 is fettuccine
dude.
Alfredo.
That's basically cheese.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, that's a good list right there.
So and you're doing 275 grams of pro.
Yeah.
So should I be upping my protein?
300 depending. Well, no, because you're also getting. Right,
but I like my frame now. I just would like it tightened and a little bigger.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be frail.
But you're going to be different, because I don't know how your body's going to react to that amount of carbs.
It's going to react amazing. You've seen it. But it's just getting there.
No, I know, but the carb intake is different for us. So, like, I still have to consume calories, so I got to do it through fats and proteins, whereas you're able to do it through fats, carbs, and proteins. I still have carbs, like, in the mornings and stuff. Yeah. But once I get to lunchtime, no carbs.
But maybe I should up the protein, like 225.
Oh, you're only at 200?
Yeah.
You should be at. So, if you really want to bodybuild,
I really do.
They say times and a half your body weight, which is probably 300 for you.
No, times and a half is crazy. That's so much.
So much.
Isn't that?
What is that? How much do you weigh? 225?
225.
So 225.
After the burger, I say 230.
Times 1.5.
Can I tell you the burger I had? Just real quick, and then we'll get another topic.
Talk to me.
I've been thinking about it.
337, by the way.
You guys are going to love it. I did, so at Griff Harris, which is golf course in Greenwich, I used to cook at the Turn. It was a grill. So I was trying to figure out how to sell more burgers. So I created a menu one of the items was double cheeseburger with chili in between.
Oh, God.
I called it the double bogey.
Oof.
And I sold a ton of them. But I remember how good it was. So we went to Burger, Shakes, and Fries for the second episode.
Yeah.
And I asked the kid, Nick, and I'm like, is that, within reason? Would you get one with me? And he's like, absolutely. So that's what we ate yesterday. Holy hell. I inhaled it.
It was good.
I almost want him to do a time lapse to show people how impressive my eating is.
You really are about this food life. I'm not going to lie. Like, I saw it at the Ranger game that was the first time in a long time.
You've seen me eat?
Dude.
The thing,
You're
though,
next
I
level.
find funny is if you can achieve like 10% and then also eat like that, you just blow people's minds. Right? Because it's to your point, it's about balance. So if that 10% where you're, off, but it's effective, like that's what everyone's trying to achieve is that balance of like you can look good in a suit and then you see a burger and you absolutely, destroy it.
Yeah, I just don't like, for whatever reason, my lifestyle has I've come to realize on the weekends, that's my family time. And that's where I'm not, I'll still work out and I'll have a good breakfast, maybe a good lunch. But for the most part, I'm eating what I want to eat. And
Do you still hit your protein goals?
Yeah.
On weekends?
On those days?
See,
yeah.
I think that's key. But it's hard when you eat crap and then you still try to hit it.
Yeah, but I at least always get, I won't say my goal, but I'll always get 200 to 250 grams of protein a day, always.
So you don't do a ton of damage.
Yeah. But I still have 4 slices of pizza, in a sitting. Pretty.
But you have
easily.
so much muscle that I feel like you just burn
Stop
it up.
All right, let's move
No,
on.
this is a strategy.
This is a pump.
All right, next topic.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we partnered with our good friends over at Orgain.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NoSnooze30. Again, that's NoSnooze30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, Orgain is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from Orgain. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
Let's get into the topic right away, man. I think, the concept and the topic of creating opportunity is something in life that I think we all need to do. Because if you're not creating opportunities, then you're kind of just remaining the same. And I think there's like a skill set or certain things that you need to implement and develop to basically be able to create opportunities. For me, when I was younger, I kind of realized, just even through my upbringing, that nothing was going to be handed to me. That I was going to be in charge of my life, and I was going to have to build whatever it is that I want. You're similar in that aspect.
I learned that later, though, in life.
Yeah, but
I went with the flow for a long time, and then I realized, like, if I don't initiate stuff, it's not happening.
Right. I get that. But the first thing in terms of, like, creating opportunities, I think you do have to have this not a manifestation, a vision of kind of where you want to create an opportunity in, right? So, I got my notes here as I was kind of jotting things down. But the first thing is thinking about how you can improve whatever already exists in your industry, right? For example, you have Sir James Dyson, the vacuum cleaner, right? The vacuum guy. He took a concept that everybody had a vacuum in their house. Like growing up, we all had vacuums. He said, okay, I think it's kind of stupid to take the bag out, throw the bag away, replace the bag. So he came up with the concept of an interchangeable bag to where you're saving money because you're not replacing the actual bag itself. And then you're just kind of emptying it and going back. Then that turned into, okay, well, how can I improve that? Now you have the cordless vacuum that was created by Dyson. We all have those. You went from basically cleaning your house in 30 minutes compared to typical 2 hours. Right? To relate it back to my industry, and this is the first thing about like how you can improve
It's funny
things.
because you're OCD, and that's like your first example is the fucking vacuum cleaner.
Well,
pardon my French.
But think about it. Like
it's a great example. I just think it's hilarious, the vacuum cleaner.
Like,
You probably love vacuuming.
I do. Oh my God.
So look at his face.
Callie and I absolutely love vacuuming.
Callie and I
swear to God, we do. So that was a story that I had known about, right? And as I'm like, what's an example of that? So that's like a real life example. Then for me, a lot of people don't know this, but like 7 years ago in my industry, I attended a conference, right? And it was basically a conference to develop your processes and procedures. 7 years ago, back in our town, a lot of municipalities tend to be outdated, if you will, to be kind. About 10 to 15 years
prehistoric.
Behind. Right, correct. We were still registering, CV remembers, registering people with a pen and paper.
That's awesome.
It was a yellow or blue sheet of paper, remember? And it was just like, the most bizarre thing. Here I go to this conference, and I'm listening to people talk about the registration process. So I said, okay, well, what needs to be improved in Greenberg? I go to my commissioner at the time, and I'm like, listen, we are so far behind. He's like, I know, but this is a great idea. I need you to pitch it to the town board. I'm like, I run recreation. I don't know about presenting to the town board. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, listen, just go in, have the conversation, and talk about why we need to improve this. So then I go pitch it, and they throw it right back on me. They're like, listen, this is a phenomenal idea, but now we need you to go out and get some software companies that are willing to bid on this project to develop our systems in the town. Right? So then I now had to follow up on the improvement. But that was one of the first examples that now I was able to kind of prove myself and create opportunity off of seeing the need of how we can, be a little bit more efficient. So meeting went great. I go back, I do my research, I then present back. Come to find out, we sign a contract, and now boom, it's been implemented. Probably got implemented 5 years ago. But I saw a need for improvement.
Yeah. What do you think the big lesson is there? Because I have an idea, I think, of what you got across.
The big lesson is...
That's your nickname now, the big lesson.
Big lesson. I like that. That's pretty fire.
So what I see in that is that the realization that people are busy and they have other things they're focusing on. So you have to do everything in your power to make it easy for them to say yes.
Yes.
Right? You don't want to make any more work for them. When you want something done, you got to lay it up for them. You got to put it on a silver platter, and all they got to do is eat.
Yes. That's a great point.
Right? Because, I have conversations, with Dana or other people in my office, and I'm like, yeah, what'd you do? And they're like, oh, we reached out, blah, blah, and we just asked them to send back, papers or something. I'm like, don't ever ask for them to send you anything.
Yep.
Put it on, be proactive, and just lay it up to get a yes, and then you figure out everything else. Don't worry about, just get the yes. Don't try to get too much out of them.
And then you get a lot of credit, obviously, for doing that if you follow through. I think in every industry, we see it every single day. A lot of people don't want extra work.
Yeah.
They want to take the shortcut, they want to cut the corner, and they're not willing to put the time and effort into something to develop it when you don't even have a guarantee.
Yeah.
Right? And it happens a lot on the local level because you got to go by votes.
Yeah.
There's a town board that literally there's 5 of them, and you have to go with the majority, which is tough. You got to be persuasive and convincing. Once I then I kind of fell in love with that, though. Like I remember I hated, I was kind of shaking and talking to them, but then after I left, kind of like you were saying after your meeting with that company, I was like, damn, I like the pressure.
Yeah.
It was kind of my first taste of it.
Yeah.
The next thing is, what do you do better than most? Right? Like, that's something I think you can think when you're trying to create opportunity and you got to start from scratch. What is it that you're very skilled at? Right? The podcast. My whole life, I honestly been called a leader and a motivator. That's kind of been, even in youth sports. It was always like, Dave, fire us up for whatever reason, right? So I think I'm pretty good at motivating and inspiring other individuals. I then took my life, which was a complete disaster prior to starting the podcast, in terms of even my marriage, right? Like I spoke about, we were at the crossroads. Are we going to continue this and build a family and, invest in each other, or are we going to call separate ways? So then I had living proof of something that now I was able to turn around with my skills. So then I was like, all right, well, if I was able to do that in a couple years' time, let's start a podcast and try to talk about how we can, make progress each and every day. And I think that's important. I think a lot of people don't realize their skills in terms of creating opportunity for themselves.
Yeah. I think a lot of people wait for permission.
Yep.
For everything, when in today's world you don't need any permission. You could just go and create.
Yep.
The issue is it's more work and it's hard to create, and you open yourself up for criticism.
Okay.
So
which is tough. You're very good at that.
Well, I don't. People hate me regardless on some
you're
topics.
Good. Honestly, you're very good at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's with practice. I think you need a lot of reps, but I am a big advocate for, to your point, creating a vehicle where you can put your effort into that can design whatever you want to design, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, I love food. I love selling real estate. Up until this point, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do both. I was like, I guess you can do it. I mean, no one's done it, but I'll try to do it. And then I just started doing it. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. If it works, it works. If not, I'll just do something else.
Yep.
So by just trying to do something and designing your own lifestyle, you kind of fit other people into your game plan, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Versus if I went to someone and I was like, hey, can you, green light me for a show and I want you to design it. And the more control you have of whatever you create for yourself then turns into opportunity that you're then able to leverage because you're the one who created it. So you know how to move it, you can change it, versus asking other people to design it for you and then you're pigeonholed to what they want to do.
Does
that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I agree 100% with that. And I think you've done that well. You've stuck to what it is that you can do, and then you've built a team kind of around it.
Well, then on top of it is like just personal life. So like Dana and I, as far as like a family, we discussed like we want to be flexible, we want to travel, we want all these things in our life. So like how do we achieve that? And to do that, we need to create some type of investment vehicle, which is real estate, where we're able to create some type of income that is more steady than my personal job or her job, right? If, for whatever reason, a lot of time it needs to go towards Livy or some situation, we want to be prepared that we have complementary income so we don't have to worry about it. But that's not an easy route. Like we've lived through construction for 3 years. Like the majority of, relationships, especially with a kid, I don't recommend that. I think it can absolutely ruin a marriage because it's just another stress point that includes finances and just daily stress that throws on top of what an already stressful life. So like we made the conscious effort to be like, we want to design this lifestyle and we are going to quite physically design it ourselves and build it out. But it's definitely not the easiest approach. Like when given the opportunity, it would have been way easier to just stay in our own house. You know what I mean?
Yes. And then you took it a step further. You were like, let me record a TV show of the renovation.
Well, if you're
we're stressed.
If you're gonna do it anyway, you might as well try to make some cash from it.
No, I get it, man. Makes perfect.
But then
sense
it gives content for this. Like, if you're not doing anything, then what the hell are we talking about? You got to keep trying to do stuff.
I agree. Next thing that it's kind of fresh in my mind, but again, as I'm procedure based, I'm thinking of things process based. I'm like, disaster leads to opportunity. Right? In your life, what kind of disaster has happened that then led to another opportunity? Did you have a loss of a family member, a pet, a major loss in terms of a relationship that then led to a new opportunity, right? For me, something just happened at work where Hurricane Ida came and, demolished our entire first floor. So I now had the opportunity, if I wanted to basically get involved on a committee to build an entire gymnasium from scratch. Just again, going back to the piece that a lot of people don't want extra work, I was like, I want control of this project, and nobody else wanted to even be on a committee. So the committee was myself. And then I was going around to the team to ask input, to kind of develop it. During that closure, I'm like, well, we can't just sit here because now we're going to take extra funding and we're going to put it into this gym to make sure that the weekend that we open, I need to have a big basketball tournament. Right, just to now start with some revenue, right off the bat. Happened to be MLK weekend, our opening weekend, which was great. We had like 45 local teams.
Weird, I didn't get the invite.
This was kids, Michael.
Oh, my bad.
Kids. 45 local teams in the community to come, not only pay a fee, but now play for the first ever MLK tournament.
Sick.
That now became an opportunity for our department on a day that we're closed, right, for a federal holiday. Now we're able to have kids playing basketball in there, and we're making some revenue off of it. So it was just an example of like, disaster leads to opportunity.
When you pitch that, did you get into the details of the weekend? Where like, how do you pitch something like that?
Of what, the MLK tournament?
Yeah.
Honestly,
do you try to evoke emotion? What's your like?
No, so
because I try to evoke emotion. Like when I talk to you about a vision of mine, I try to get you excited and how it's gonna help you and how you're going to feel about it.
Yeah, this one was kind of different because I feel like our backs are against the wall this year. We have no option.
So it was more like
but to make this money. Revenue goal, right? But to make this revenue goal, but now how can we do it? Because easily I could rent this out and I can make the money. I could rent it out and not have our name on it. But I was like, no, let's put the extra legwork in now while we're closed, develop the relationship. Some of them we already had. But we were like, we want teams from outside of this area on top of the local community to come in and see this facility. So now when we have a summer league, now they're automatically in. They were already asking. They're like, hey, well, what's the deal
want to rent it for a party?
For winter league, right. But I wanted it to be, our town and our department to get recognition for now starting this first ever MLK tournament in our area.
Yeah.
There are MLK tournaments in basketball all over the place.
So you definitely described the upside for the people. I think that's important. Like for Burgers and Bentleys, for example.
Yep.
Just an idea. Like I literally cold called someone, was like, hey, I see you on Instagram. I think I can really help your brand. We're not asking for anything. We just need a car to go get a burger in.
We just need a $300,000 vehicle.
Like, don't get too into the details. Yep. Obviously, there's way more details in getting something like that off the ground. But just the hook of like, we don't need much. Just need a car and we'll go eat some burgers. And you'll
great
get
exposure,
tons of
marketing.
Business. And then it's like, all right, well, what's the convo? So then you get a meeting. And then when you go into the meeting, that's the time to pitch the vision, right? It's like, listen, we're rolling up in a Rolls. We're going to a food truck. We're getting this sloppy, incredible burger. It humanizes you guys. Yep. You're not just seen as like the guys who sell the most expensive cars in town. They keep seeing your face pop up. Next time they think Bentley, they're going to think you, right? And then just before you know it, you're going to sell more Bentleys than you by eating burgers. You'll never eat another bite. So like you make it funny. You get them laughing. But simple. Like there's no, we're going to need this many days a week, and you don't overwhelm them. You give them you give them all the good stuff. Then once they're in and they're like, all right, then you hit them with like, all right, we're there. We need you Tuesday from 2 to 5 for 6 weeks straight. Yes. So I'm very conscious of like, you got to get them excited so that you can pull them through the like inconvenience of doing it. Right.
Yes.
And you got to make it easy for them. For example, my guy was only available certain days. We don't shoot on those days, but I told the team, I'm like, listen, we got to accommodate because we got to make it easy. Right. We can't give them a reason to say no. Serve it up on a silver platter. So all he's got to do is eat. So we served it up. We said, all right, that's your day. Can you commit to 6 weeks in a row so that this seems like a little slower season for you? Mm-hmm. And then, we locked it in. But it's like, I never thought of the process of it, but it's definitely get them excited, paint the vision, and then, execute and make it easy for them when you execute. That's for everything.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
If you're talking to your wife and you want to go out to dinner with the boys or whatever, find a babysitter for the baby. Right.
I've already done the legwork to make this happen.
Grab her massage. I don't do this. I should. Grab her a massage. Get her out of the house. You want to even go out with her. Make it easy on the in-law. Oh, listen, we got food in the fridge. Come on over. Yep. You gotta give people a little push.
It's a good example. There was a lady at work. She gets this beautiful bouquet of flowers, right? Like it's beautiful, and it was just because it's Friday. Yeah. From her husband. So like all the guys in our office, we were like, oh, like I'm like, well, my wife hates flowers. Like, she thinks they die, so she doesn't want them. Everybody's like, yeah, those are beautiful. Like, what is it? She's like, I don't know. It's just the card says like, I love you just because it's Friday, or whatever. I'm like, damn, that's a good guy. So then comes back in the office on Tuesday. I'm like, how was the weekend? She's like, oh, it was good. My husband out with the boys on Saturday. So in my head, I'm like, I didn't say it out loud, but I'm like, wait a minute. Did the flowers
on Friday?
Go boys on Saturday, right? It was fire. So, I hope my wife doesn't listen because I'm thinking I'm going to do the same.
It is funny, too, because, like, Dana will do something, and it's not, like, anything crazy, just something little. Yep. And I'll be like, what do you want? Because you, like, know it's coming. Mm-hmm. So I think the game is you got to get flowers every Friday for, like, 3 weeks.
Are these dandelions? Like,
no, you got to lead them up, and then you whack them with a Saturday event.
Okay. All right. I think also providing your value, whatever industry you are, right? We talk about it all the time, but how do you provide value, right? You're knowledgeable on what you do. You're willing to do the things that people aren't willing to do. And you're looking to make things a little bit easier for the individuals around you.
I always think from the view of my competitor. I say, how am I going to get put out of business? What are they going to say about me? Because quite literally,
that's a great skill.
When I go for interviews now, I know there's an agent in town that's talking shit. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm like, what could they
Still
attack?
The same lady?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. We need to send her some Valentine's Day stuff.
But it's firing me up, which I love because I'm getting more into the world, so it's been fun. Anyway, just thinking from that point of view, I constantly think like, why would they go with me, right? People are going to say I don't believe this. People are going to say like, oh, he's just another guy, leans on video, can't really sell a property. I could sell for more. I'll do it at a discount, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, the discount thing's going to get me. Yep. So I'm like, how do I counteract that? I have to show by a stat that if you go with me, you're going to get more money for your house. So even if someone gives a lesser commission, it doesn't matter because I'm making you more money. right?
What if we take photos and I like flex outside the house and
you scare people away?
You know,
maybe if we put you in the house,
and,
so if you get into the house, then you see you flex, that might work. But I like everything we do now. You got to think of like, how could I put myself out of business and then put something in place to counteract it? Because not as crazy as rainbow and butterflies you think the world is, people are trying to take food off your plate. They're trying to take food off your plate, so you got to act, not be mean about it, but know that with a chance they're going to try to dethrone you. Not that I'm at the top or anything, because I'm not, but I'm trying to dethrone everyone above me. Right? So what's to say that the guy below me is not trying to copy everything I'm doing? So you got to just be better. So it's like the differentiator you need to be super clear on, and I think you need to use stats, because it's not an opinion anymore. It's a fact.
It's facts.
They can't argue a stat. They can argue an opinion. You know, I'm the best realtor to sell your property. All right, we can argue that. We can get 35% more property if I represent you. Here's the stats. You know? So, like,
gold.
That was a big...
That was gold.
Right?
Gold.
Like, how do you argue that? You can't,
You
really.
can't. Yeah.
You could say, maybe that's who did the
and
stats.
you can justify, right, from their perspective. You could be like, oh, well, he got this because, but now there's still facts.
Yeah. And you can,
you know?
The great thing, and this is a secret, and I don't want my competitors to hear this.
Good thing we don't have a podcast.
Secret time. You can tailor stats however you want to make yourself look good. I'm not saying lie, but you can tailor them in how you present them so that it makes you look a little better. Does that make sense?
Yes. Give us an example.
For example, you know, if I did all the stats in town for multifamilies, I would probably be like third or fourth for the year for a certain stat, which is a price per square foot, right? Versus if I focus on the community I'm going for, I'd become number one. So as my thought is, like, if you're not number one in a stat, or it's compelling with a high percentage, like if you wouldn't get someone excited about it, don't use it, right? No one cares about the third highest sale. They care about the first.
Yep.
No one wants to hire the third best, guy who makes nose jobs. He wants the first. So that's how I kind of been trying to format things. And when I go out and try to get a listing, now I'm conscious of like, all right, if I do go through with this, how can I make it so that my stat on the back end, obviously you need to sell the property, but that I can use in the future. I try to focus once it closes on that, because you don't want to think about that when you're selling. I take that back. But after it closes, then you dig in the numbers. Is there any story I can tell here? A lot of times the answer is no. But it's like you can tell people how many recent sales you've done in that specific area, who you've worked with, and then some strong stat of like it's on the market for. If they're like, I want a nice clean deal and I want to get out as soon as possible, then the stat is days on market. It's like, all right, the last house we did, it was on for 2 weeks, right? It's all, you got to keep tailoring it to what you're trying to present.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's a good time to tell you, but Justin and I actually started selling dog houses in Greenwich.
Did you?
And it's 2 square feet, and we sell them for $2,000. So technically, we are number one, because 2 square feet divided by 2,000, we're actually going for 1,000 a square foot.
So
now you're done.
It's funny you say that. I actually looked up like who can get a number like that, and I already thought in my head how I can discredit it by saying like, oh, it's a teardown. Right. Mine was actually you'd use it, which is hilarious.
Yep.
So it's funny.
No, very, very good point. And I think but first step in that to even get there is you got to know your data.
Oh yeah.
And you got to really study it and kind of see what's out there and really use it to your advantage. Good point,
you have to know your stuff. Like you can't just throw out stats and not be correct.
100. And then the last thing, honestly, I have on my list, and I feel like this is something that a lot of people don't do. But does anybody else know that you want more for yourself?
Oh, I tell people everything.
No, you.
Oh.
But you get what I'm saying? A lot of people, they'll be in a job and, they'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm deserving of X, Y, Z. When in reality, did you go sit down? Did you talk to your boss? Did you talk to your supervisor? Did you say you want more? Did you say you want, more responsibility? You want a promotion? Obviously, going in with just the mindset of money isn't great. But if you come, and as a supervisor, you hear somebody, hey, listen, I want a little bit more responsibility. It's a good conversation to have. But I feel like a lot of times we just kind of sit back and we're like, they should recognize my work. They should do that.
Do you ask like as a
So funny. I mean, I don't know if this is public knowledge, but any opportunity that I've gotten, I've asked for.
No, not you. I say, do you ask people what they want?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's important.
And a lot of people, they keep it very vague.
Yeah, I dig.
They can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But a lot of the one-on-ones that I have,
you're very blunt, so I could see
a lot of that
like,
stuff.
What do you want? And they're like, and you're like, no, really, what do you want?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it makes so much easier when you figure out like what their goal is,
right? And how can I help you get there?
Yeah, like let's not be cryptic.
I've seen a lot of people though with goals. Obviously, even I struggle with it for a long time. The less clarity you have, and the more you just continue to go through the motions, the more disgruntled you become. And that's it could be in your fitness life, it could be in your business.
At me?
No, I'm just saying.
It's gray. It's a little less.
Really, any aspect. You got to want more to do more.
Yeah.
The
only last thing I love that. The only last thing I would add is that something you have to ask yourself when you're going for an opportunity is what's the worst that can happen,
right? And
if it's like, I don't know, they say no, do it.
Yes,
right? Because it's like there's no downside. So, for example, if I think a house is like, this is interesting, should I send it to these people? And in the past, I've been like, they really don't want it. I don't care if they don't want it. I think it's good. Mm-hmm. Send it to them. Chances that they say yes are low, but the one time they say yes, I literally sent an email. Like it's not. The return on the time is amazing. So it's like, F it, send it.
You got to get there, though.
What?
Like people got to really season themselves for that.
I don't think so. I think even less so.
I don't know.
Like
man.
when I was starting, I should have sent out way more emails. Because
it's
a numbers game.
Yes. But a lot of people we don't like hearing no. None of us like it.
But if you're getting to know through an email of a listing, it's a lot easier than being in a listing appointment and getting like destroyed, which I've done. Sucks.
Yep.
You feel like your life's a lie. When you leave, you're like, wow, I'm terrible.
Good points, man.
Right?
And I think you even had your own little process here, man.
I don't know. I think I made it up.
But that's how it comes off, man. So
subscribe to the No Snooze podcast. What's the worst that could happen? Right? You love us.
All right.
You start following us left and right. Maybe the egg guy comes to give you an autograph.
David the Egg Regina. Yes, NoSnoozeShop.com. Still trying to roll out these yoga pants.
It's hard, right? Clothing's tough.
Yeah. The design is what's messing me up. The location
Can
of
I
the
throw
design.
out an ask to the fans?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you have any experience in clothing or running a brand for clothing, we'd love to hear, because I know you're a busy man. I know I'm a busy man, and we'd rather see something be done with our vision behind it and someone go execute than it just not continue to expand. I think we've been successful to this point. Mm-hmm. But if we had someone really pushing...
Oh, yeah. So are we looking for a partnership, a partner opportunity?
We're flexible, We'll hear you out. Bring the cash, though.
Don't listen to Mike's advice about coming in with a $1 million number to us.
No, I didn't say that.
No, I know.
Dude, I'm not that crazy.
I know. Listen, $7 million or...
But I'll tell you one thing. In 10 years, I might ask for that.
Absolutely, you will.
Oh, last thing. Opportunities. This year is big ops.
Big
opportunities. No focus on small things. Yes, obviously you take on the occasional small thing, but don't get lost in the little ops. Go for the big ops. We're going for home runs this year.
Guy is spitting fire today.
Could make nonsense.
I love the energy.
Nonsense.
I love it. Anything else on that?
No, subscriber. I'm gonna
Let's go.
Come to your house.
This will bring us to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dimes.
You're gonna absolutely love this one. A little real estate based here, and it ties into opportunity pretty well. To all the doors that have closed on me, I'm coming back to buy the building.
Whoa, I do like that one.
Oh, my God.
But are those people still in the
I don't even care because it doesn't even matter. I'll buy the building
them?
with you in there. Yeah, maybe a little eviction process. I don't know. Maybe raise the rent roll. I don't know.
I feel like closing a door on you would not be a good idea. I feel like you just kick it in.
No, man, but listen, opportunities, right? Opportunities,
how good
they come every day.
Sorry, last thing. Buying a building, right? Just the story of that sounds so good, even if it's a small building.
A 4-unit.
Like buying a building. No, even if it's like a tiny 1-unit. Say I bought a building this week.
2 dog houses on top of each other.
I think about that, though. Like when we bought our first house, it was the smallest house in Greenwich.
Yep.
But I could say, yeah, I live in town. Like it's the perception. If someone ever asked, they'd be like, it's literally 900 square feet. They don't know. I could live on Lake Ave. Yep. Use the unknown
to your advantage. Oh.
Should I do a dime after that? Yeah. Mike's dime of the week. Don't wait for the right opportunity. Create it. I don't know who said it, but
you did.
I did.
Don't wait for the right opportunity. Create it. Yeah, man, and that also comes with confidence. It does. It really does. You got to have confidence and you got to believe in yourself because you're a lot better than you think. You know,
Are you talking to me right now?
For a long time, no, me myself. For a long time,
okay.
I thought I was.
Is there a mirror in front of me?
Yeah, that mirror that I look at. You know, is a little. I'm like, you know, you're a fraud. You're not really about this. You know, can't get it done. There's somebody better than you. Fuck that. Go get it. Right.
We just got demonetized for that swear at the end, but
yeah, sorry.
That works.
Hey, listen.
No, I'm just kidding. You're paid now. Don't worry.
Let's go, baby. David the Egg Regina signing off.
KB, drop a tag, right?
I hear you. Until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
And buy the building.
It's in the budget. That's another Effie in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.